That's so we really know we've never commentated these guys playing before, but we're really excited too, and that's the whole point of this league is to get these guys' names out there. So let's see if they can prove their stuff here in this first game.
Okay, well let's see if our players are ready. If they are, then I'm going to go ahead and get things started. I am the host for the match, so just waiting on word back from both our players now. Vega and Aechmil. Looks like Vega is ready. Aechmil is ready as well, so good luck, have fun to our players. Let's go ahead and get started. The first match of the Collegiate Esports Series League Invitational. So this is Cats Pajamas again here with Wolf, and I'm glad to be commentating with you.
I am so glad, man.
And I'm glad to actually be commentating now too. So,
yes.
Yeah, because
game is starting.
Had to get up nice early, 7:30 in the morning. The game is starting. I'm waiting for one of those insta drops or lag outs right at the beginning of the game because
or someone shouting in our ears telling us we weren't supposed to start yet.
So hopefully we are indeed looking at the first game. Again, MLG Metalopolis, so no close spawns by ground. We'll see what we get here in just a second. I am loaded. There we are, guys. So at the 6 o'clock position here on MLG Metalopolis, we have our representative from University of Cincinnati. He is BROvega. So BROvega is our red Zerg player. His opponent here at the 9 o'clock position from Wisconsin is our pink Terran player, Aechmil. So we are spawning close positions by air. And what do you think we'll see out of these players?
Well, you know, on a map like Metalopolis, when you know the positions aren't close, you could really see anything from, you could see Banshee plays is quite popular with these positions, but you could see 2 barracks pressure just like normal into an expansion. You could see some sort of Hellion opener from the Terran player, a lot of different options. On Metalopolis, when you know you're not at close positions, when you're a Zerg player, you often hatchery first, so that's definitely a possibility, something we could see. I think that it would be unlikely that we wouldn't see a hatchery first. It might be a little bit unusual. But so far, nothing is out of the ordinary for these two guys.
No.
The strategies that are becoming more popular right now for Zerg players are getting those hatchery first. There's a new build that people have been talking about called the Spanishiwa build, where you just don't get gas for a really long time. It's becoming very, very popular.
Oh, yeah, I had the pleasure of casting him at the SC Reddit Open just recently. And Mass Queens, let me tell you, that guy can take close positions on slag pits against a Terran player and make it seem like it's Imba for Zerg. It's awesome how well he can pull it off.
He really gets a lot of extra queens out, and we could see a style like that from BROvega. But again, as you guys know, we've never commentated these guys before, so
yeah,
not quite sure we're going to see it. Now, the Overlord has been spotted by this SCV, so Aechmil does know that the Overlord, or that they are at close air positions. Of course, the Overlord as well sees the SCV, sees the command center. Yeah. So both players know exactly where their spawns are now, and Aechmil looks like he's going to be sending his SCV out actually in the incorrect direction, so maybe he didn't notice.
Yeah, I don't think he did.
Unless he's going to proxy something.
It's
definitely a possibility he's going to proxy something, but I don't think so. I think he's actually going to cross positions to scout. So a bit of a blunder there from him right from the start, but that's okay. Everyone gets nervous, everyone makes mistakes from time to time.
Yeah, it looks like BROvega is going to go ahead and drop down his pool now, so a pool coming down before any sort of gas or anything like that. He is pumping out yet more drones, did drop down that first hatchery, or second hatchery, as you were stating before. Right now, Aechmil going pretty conventional build. Yes, his orbital command coming up on 15 food, so right now he's sending out an SCV to put down a supply depot at the back. He did indeed go after those cross positions, as you said before. We'll actually follow this poor SCV in now as he finally makes that trip for scouting. That Overlord just kind of hanging out above Aechmil's base there. Both players are even on supply at the moment. Another Overlord just about to pop there for BROvega. And let's see if a bunker gets put down. Uh-oh!
Now, the problem with this is if you always got to keep an Overlord, but it just barely has enough vision to see that bunker. But if you don't have an Overlord spotting for things like this, this can end a game for you sometimes. But luckily, he was just barely able to see the bunker, just a little bit too close to that hatchery. It looks like the SCV will be surrounded and killed here. This attack will do absolutely no damage. He's going to have to cancel that bunker. Indeed, he does cancel. The 2 Marines that were moving out to pressure are now returning to the Xel'Naga Watchtower. Factory is about a third of the way done right now, so Aechmil has no plans to do that two barracks pressure into an expansion. He really is going to be going for those Hellions, so we're probably going to be following that up with Hellions here very soon.
He's actually going after an expansion, so there is a command center on the way. If we take a look, that factory is just about to finish. Now, at the very least, that bunker still did do a little bit of economic damage. He lost about 25 minerals there for canceling the bunker, but it was still worth it in the grand scheme of things to pull those drones off there. It did force his opponent into that early spine crawler when maybe he didn't necessarily want to, but of course, if he's going for a tech build, he may be looking at that. And we do, in fact, have a starport now coming up for Aechmil.
So what we're probably going to see from Aechmil, there's 2 options when you get a fast starport like this while you're expanding. The first option is obviously to do some sort of drop with Marines and Hellions, try to do some damage that way before the Spire gets out, because the Spire is not going to be anywhere near done if you do that super fast dropship. The other option, of course, is Banshees, but we don't see any tech labs yet for the factory or the barracks to switch with that, so I'm thinking that's a little bit less likely.
No, it looks like there's probably going to be drop play involved here because he has not gone for a second gas at all. So I imagine he's going to put up a quick medevac here whenever the time is ready. So looks like the next command center is about finished now, about 90% of the way done. We finally see the next gas on the way. Back on the Zerg side of things, BROvega just finishing up some overlords. He is actually going after a couple of gas. Look at this, going for all 4 extractors at the same time. So he did not get any gas up till now. Wanted to get out those nice early queens, making sure he kept himself not supply blocked. Uh-oh, have a little bit of lag there, but looks like everything's cleaning up. And there you go. There's this 4-queen style, and we do indeed have our first Banshee coming out now for Aechmil.
Yeah, so that Banshee timing is a little bit off because he didn't have that second gas, but it's going to allow him to expand behind this. So this is by no means going to be an all-in attack. It's just going to be a pressure. I actually would be surprised if he makes more than 1 Banshee. He's going to put the fear of the Banshee into the heart of his opponent. He's going to have to worry about the Banshee. He's going to have to make extra queens. He might have to make an evolution chamber because he's not sure if there's cloak or not. He doesn't have a lair yet. So even though there is no cloak being researched right now, he's going to be scared. He's going to have to get that evolution chamber. He is starting lair right now because he did get that 4 gas, as you were saying. He's going to be able to get a super fast spire as soon as that lair finishes, and I think that's what he's going to bank on. Oh, double evolution chamber. So if he's going to go for the double evolution chamber, it could be getting double upgrades for his ground units very quickly. And that may mean that may trigger some sort of timing attack off of 2 bases.
He's actually committing to quite a bit of Zerglings here in the short term, so I don't know if that's us up for defense at this point, but a little bit of lag there one more time. He actually is advancing that spine crawler forward just a little bit, so we'll see how forward he decides to put that nice creep spread for, just under 8 minutes into the game. He's doing a very effective job of controlling the map at this point. Our Terran player is effectively, now I don't know if he's going for that style where he just wants a super ridiculous economy and then he starts mining out a bunch of things all at the same time. Looks like this Banshee was actually tried to get in.
Did some harassment. Got only about 3 kills, but he did manage to keep it alive. There were just too many queens there. And, of course, the spore crawlers are finishing up now. Well, he's got that 1 spore crawler towards the edge of his base. That's going to, of course, provide vision if the Banshees do become cloaked. He's going to send that Banshee home, though. He's going to start to repair that. Siege mode nearly done. First siege tank is about halfway done. The Banshee's just killing Zerglings out on the map. The Zerglings don't have speed, so they can't really even run away from that. A Baneling nest is being made, as well as an infestation pit. +1 melee attack and +1 carapace being researched right now for Vega. So he is just really getting all his tech out, getting the super fast infestation pit, getting those upgrades for his units. So he's going to be going for that style that Demaga really likes, where you get a lot of Zerglings out and you get the infestors up, you upgrade your Zerglings, and it makes it very difficult for the Terran to pressure you. It makes it really easy to take that 3rd base. So a lot of people will be like, oh, 2-base infestor, that's kind of weird. That's kind of a really, really fast infestor build. It's actually relatively normal because it's a safe build, and you can hold off with a lot of queens, a lot of spine crawlers, and just transition right into that.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take stock of where we're at in the game now, though. We do have a 70-68 supply advantage now for our Zerg player, and he is actually going to a 3rd base at this time down in the bottom right-hand corner, so a 3rd hatchery is coming up. A lot of upgrades on the way, though. We do see Pathogen Glands, the Khadarian Amulet for Infestors, as it's like to be referred to, in addition to Baneling Speed coming up. So a couple of upgrades on the way. Finally, we have another gas being taken for Aechmil, so he is going pretty aggressively into some upgrades. Stim Pack is about, just over halfway done. An Overseer making its way into the base here. I don't think it's going to drop down any sort of contamination. Oh, it actually has to run away. A bunch of Marines are coming up now, and they're going to be able to catch up to it if that Overseer doesn't run. The Overseer is not being moved away. He's just kind of sitting there.
Yeah, both players just kind of ignoring it. The Marines weren't targeting it, and the Overseer wasn't actively running away, so that was kind of a weird little situation there.
And so right now we have more Zerglings coming out to actually join this here, so that is going to create quite a few. Let's take a look at the units tab. 40 Zerglings and 4 Queens out now for Aechmil. Oh, and here comes the morphin of Banelings.
Yeah, 20 Banelings on the way.
Coming up at the same time, and looks like he's going to be pretty aggressive here, actually morphing in 2 upgrades at the time, being two melee and ground carapace upgrades, while our Terran player appears to be moving out with a pretty good selection of Marines and siege tanks.
Yeah, this is, the normal Terran push. He's got that Banshee in there as well. Siege mode is done, so with 2 tanks, if he scans here, he can kill a lot of creep tumors. He might try to go and siege up next to that cliff. That's a thing a lot of Terran players really like to do on this map, but here come the Speed Banes.
Oh, here come all the Banelings. The Banelings are moving in. Those Marines are not splitting themselves up yet. He's running away as fast as he can, getting off creep, but oh my god, those Banelings are doing a lot of damage, chewing up siege tanks as well. The siege tanks going down left and right. Here come the rest of the Banelings. They're going to move into this bunker here momentarily. The Banelings not not actually exploding on that. Did a little bit of damage. Looks like they wanted to clean up a few units in the short term, but our Zerg player is not nearly as far ahead after that as I think he would have wanted to be.
Yeah, he didn't do as much damage. He had a lot of Banelings that didn't really do anything, and the Terran player did react pretty quickly. He didn't spread his Marines instead and try to fight. He just decided to run away instead. And the medevacs lifted quite a few of those Marines up, so saved quite a few of those Marines. So in the short term here, the Zerg player, he was a little bit ahead in supply, but he lost a lot of his army. So far as army size goes, the Terran player has a much stronger army now. And once he did take out a few of those siege tanks, so that's one of those things, the critical siege tank. You get this critical siege tank timing where you have like 4 or 5 tanks, and he just really wanted to delay that. So I think overall it was a smart push. He does have that third base up. The Terran player is making his third base now. He started that command center. He's making a second factory as well, so he's going to be starting to get his economy kicked in here with that third base. He's going to be producing 2 siege tanks at a time. Excuse me.
Yeah,
there's a little drop. How much damage can it do with those spore crawlers there? Banshee has to be very careful.
Doing a nice job, though, absorbing the damage with the Banshee there while all the Marines drop. But here come the Infestors, and my God, that new fungal growth is just awesome. Oh, and all the Marines are cleared up almost immediately. That's a pretty good win there for BROvega. He didn't even lose his Spore Crawler. Lost a couple of Zerglings there, but that was really about all. He is actually taking a 4th base at the same time. Both these players taking bases relatively, not super early or anything like that, but taking them on good timings. Aechmil putting that down whenever he makes himself a nice little engagement there with a drop. And if you guys are hearing crowd noises, apparently they're a few seconds behind us. So, but that's okay, as it looks like now BROvega is going to move in with a huge group of units. He is ready to push in one more time, just massing these Infestors, Speedlings, and Banelings.
And here they come, actually, the Infestors, Speedlings, and Banelings moving out a little bit here on the map. The Banelings, of course, are not on creep right now, so they can't move very quickly. He may try to fungal growth these tanks. The tanks are not in siege mode. Does he know this push is coming? I don't think he's aware of it, and here come the Banelings.
Oh, but those siege tanks weren't sieged up in time. A couple of them are getting surrounded very early, and the Aechmil doesn't really have a lot up. The Banelings are moving in. They are killing a ton of units. Oh, wow, why didn't he kill that siege tank with what he had left? Looks like he's going to go after the economy. My God, a lot of SCVs going down. Oh, all of them just grouped themselves up, and that is an enormous amount of economic damage that was just done. And Aechmil, it is going to take an act of God for him to get his economy back.
There's much chance of him coming back easily in this game. It's going to take a lot. Here comes some more Speedlings. He may hold this off. He may not die quite yet, but he's lost so many units, and I think he actually is going to lose the last bit of his Marines here. And once he loses these Marines, he's going to be in trouble because the Zerglings are camped on top of these production facilities. Nothing can come out of the barracks. Every time something comes out of the barracks or the factory, it's killed immediately here. SCV is falling very quickly. The supply 120 to 60. SCV is falling very rapidly. There's no attacking units. The Banshee has 33 kills. She's trying to defend here, but one Banshee is just not enough.
No, it's not enough at all. These Zerglings are just destroying the rest of the SCVs. A lot of damage being done.
GG!
There's the GG! And BROvega takes game number 1 here between Wisconsin and Cincinnati. That was a very aggressive, very fun style Speedling, Baneling, and Fester push.
It was like, you know, no gas, kind of Spanishi Wall style. You get the fast expansion, get a bunch of queens out. Then he had the evolution chambers in time just for that Banshee, had the Banshee defense up, and then went right into Infestors off of 4 gas. You notice he made 4 gases at once, so he was able to get those Infestors out super fast, use those to defend the dropship, and then did a nice timing attack. His first Baneling attack was a little bit, you know, it was a little bit sketchy. He didn't do as much damage as he wanted to, but he took out some critical siege tanks that made the next attack so much stronger because the critical siege tank number was just not there.
And you know, BROvega did the right thing too when he deflected that first attack. He was pretty even on supply. He loaded up this big drop and he wanted to get the pressure while his opponent was possibly droning, trying to get an economy. But the problem was there was a great reaction time there for Aechmil. He stopped that without losing a single structure, only lost a few Banelings to that entire drop. And, you know, from there on out, it was just a good macro game. He was able to just keep applying the pressure. There was really no chance for Aechmil to come back from that.
Yeah, so. You know, he just made the choice. It was like, almost like July Cirque style. He just said, okay, you haven't even taken your 3rd base yet. I could just try to deny your 3rd while I'm taking my 4th. But he was like, oh, your tanks are on siege? And he just made the choice. You know, he just went for it, and he killed all those tanks very quickly, broke through, killed all the SCVs, and there was just nothing that Aechmil could really do. So really, really smart choices there in that game. Yep. So that does put Cincinnati up 1 point. So
there we go. I don't know
exactly when we're going to jump into the next game. I think we're going to stick with this set, but do stay tuned for that because we don't know exactly. We'll be telling you as soon as we know.